Yo, what is going on today, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. We have got a Titan talk where they talk about new gods, they talk about new aspects, and we've got a new item towards the end of it. And this is just me breaking down what I think about a lot of this stuff. I missed the Titan talk, so I had to go back and listen to it. But yeah, let's see what they talk about. Achilles, Jiggy is live.
And Marilyn made some amazing art out of it.
This is awesome. Sweet. Well, I'll fire all the abilities out really quick.
Yep. Already a little sneak peek there of one of his plus ones.
There we go. And then, of course, as you said in base, you've got the passive you can change.
Yep.
We'll go no armor mode for a little bit.
Jeez.
Sure.
Sweet. Well, I guess let's go ahead and start with the passive, bro. What's going on with Achilles' passive?
So the passive is a difficult one to start with because we're kind of flowing it into the rest of the kit some more. So the general theming for the biggest part of it
does he buff up his abilities depending on his stance?
State matters more. So your other abilities will gain more or lose effects based on whether or not you have your armor on and off. So in this description, you can see there's little icons there for your armor off or an or your shield and spear, basically.
That passive looks so much cooler
as well. But any of this kind of green, blue, teal coloring text you'll see for the health and protections there, that's your armor on.
That's cool.
And then the more brown, orange, that's your armor off. So same as Smite 1, health and protections, it's just tanky stats while you've got your armor on. And then when you've got your armor off, you've got your strength and your movement speed, all scales per level. The biggest changes here, so I'll go back to Smite 1 for a second. So when he kind of spins his
bonus
shield
stun
around
duration or
and
extra scaling
force outward, it's a rolling cone is what we call it, or a changing collision size. So if you were to line up a full wave, it would hit one of them at a time, basically. And that sound effect is really satisfying. So we've kept that. One change we've made there is that small cone area, if you bring up your target or when it's back up, that'll actually be instant now. So no matter what, you'll get that stun very quickly. That's the biggest stun range and the highest damaging range. In that small cone will be instant. Everything after that is kind of the rolling cone. Makes it a bit snappier, that's all. So if you want to bring up the description as well, we'll show... Yeah, so we've got a lot more here.
50% is a lot for strength. Not really.
The rolling part of the cone.
For strength, it's 60 damage if you have 400 strength.
Minions, but it's all non-guard targets, so it helps him with his clear a lot. That was kind of I don't want to say a late addition to Smite 1, but towards more recent years in Smite 1. But the plus one here, and then you'll see this throughout the rest of the kit as well.
Wait,
is
I can't remember 115% damage? Is that I can't remember. That was not a thing in Smite 1, right? I mean, it just makes his clear so much better. I don't remember this being a thing in Smite 1, but this just makes his clear insane. And this is a god who's not reliant on, or sorry, his one weakness is that his clearing is bad. Now, it's 115%.
The last dot point of the short description there, which isn't very short in this case, but you'll see the green and the brown, which you should be looking out for. So the increased stun duration when you're armored, and increased scaling duration, increased strength scaling when you're unarmored. So in Smite 1, for almost all gods and all effects, we've tried to scale down some CCs. So his base stun duration, if I remember correctly, in Smite 1 was 1 second. We've lowered that to 0.8, just in line with how we're reducing CC across the board in Smite 1. But we want to reward you in different ways for having your armor on or armor off.
That's cool.
So if you have your armor on, you get an increased stun duration there. So you see bonus stun duration.
I mean, it needs to have a longer cooldown
to that 1 second. And that's your reward for keeping your armor on and basically your shield being more powerful. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the opposite side of that is your armor off. You'll do extra damage, so 15% extra scaling.
Execute him.
Armor off.
Bro, seeing that, it just makes me want to slam my ultimate key.
On that passive. Feel more offensive when you have your armor off. And
next is
to the
Radiant
2.
Glory. What's going on with the 2, Ro?
Here we go. Pretty much the same as Smite 1 again, except the plus one. So the plus one, with your armor on, you will gain a physical shield. So if you think of Hecate, where she gains a magical shield with her third ability.
Okay, physical shield. Okay.
So quite good in Soul Lane, where most gods
reduces their protection.
And if you pop it, you'll see a little physical shield.
That's broken
on your bar there as well. Oh, you've got your armor off, so you won't see it just yet. But if you put your armor on and then use it when it's back off cooldown, yep, go ahead.
But I want to see how
that's right. Yeah, so that's your physical shield.
I want to see the shield. What's the stats of it?
How that works, for example, with Hecate, only physical.
It doesn't say, does it? Oh no, he has to scroll.
All other damage will.
He has to
basically
scroll.
The shield isn't there. Same way with Hecate with its magical damage.
50 plus 10. Okay, so it doesn't scale
and then if your
with.
armor is off. We want to
wait. Maybe it does.
Really promote
That's a pretty bad scaling.
Achilles jungle or Achilles
250
assassin
shield is
style
ass.
Where you get behind your opponent and deal more
But
damage.
250 shield,
So what you
building
do
full
with this
damage
is
could
if
be
you hit
really
an
good.
opponent from behind, so think kind of like Loki passive. While you've got that 2 active, it'll shred their protections. Yeah, and you hear that little sound effect there. You're shredding their protections. That scales, I think, 1
that
per level.
15 protections?
So 20 protections, taking away from the target. That's not just for you. That's taking it away from the target. So everybody will deal more damage to that target because you're taking away their protections. And so that's just basically to encourage you to step around, dash around the target, get behind them, and steal their protections. Not steal, but take away their protections.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
What about the 3?
Combat dodge. The third ability.
A slow?
Yeah, this one is a fun one.
Or increased
so
dodge range?
We've made the stab when you've got your
Although
armor
the speed
on
of your
actually
dodge is
slow.
doubled.
And then you can obviously stab them
Wait,
twice.
I gotta
If you
see
get
it.
a
I gotta
dodge,
see
get
it.
that reset, you can stab again. So we've made that slow stacking as well. So if you stab them once, they'll be slowed by 7.5%. Stab them again, that doubles up to 15. Just allows you to keep up with your opponent, or allows other people to catch up to your opponent.
The thing is, I think shield stance might be better.
Tankiness, armor off will be damage. So your armor off in this case to kind of promote this, like we're talking about with the 2 to get behind your opponent and just move around faster. The dash itself will be about twice the speed. So if you dash now, it's very quick.
Oh, that's zooming.
Yeah.
Okay, that is kind of insane.
Double speed on that dash, allow you to get behind that opponent and then take away their protection.
Bro!
So the stab or any basic attack.
Maybe the 3, maybe the armor off speed is actually better.
So again,
I mean,
kind of
armor off is just better.
maybe
They're
Achilles
both
jungle,
really
maybe
good.
just a really offensive
Both of the
early
plus
game.
ones make both
Achilles in the
stances
soul lane
really
going for his
strong.
kills. It's just a very, very fast dash. Almost a blink, it's so fast.
I know.
I mean, he's got that armor off. He should be moving quick.
For Achilles fatal
Surely there's no +1 to this.
Yep. So this one we haven't rolled the passive into this one just because it's a very strong ability as is. So this one was really Smite 1 parity, and that was kind of a tough quest with this one. So same way it works in Smite 1, you get your
Did they lower the execute?
your charge up, your CC immunity during that, and then you do your dash.
Yeah, we're watching Titan
go
talk.
through everything, well, not walls and all that. You impact gods. If you're able to execute them, you will execute them just like that. If they're not in execute range, you will just damage them. So there are a lot of things to manage in this.
Okay, aspect.
Threshold. That's when we show it. Fire it up to then it'll go. And the goal is to focus on parity for that one.
Yeah.
A weight aspect, because we had a couple different angles. You know, I approached like maybe Achilles support aspect, where we'd have to change a lot of his kit to benefit his teammates. But it felt like Achilles, for the longest time, for his whole duration in Smite 1, was just on the cusp of being good in the jungle, but just still felt a little bit too much like the warrior from Smite 1.
That's close.
But instead, now we're gonna push him towards being more damagey.
That's
It
close.
felt like one of the things that was really holding him back in the jungle is that he wasn't able to clear very well. In solo lane, you're able to stab somebody.
That's a
and
good
that gets you the
aspect.
reset of your 3, so you can stab somebody, or you can dash and stab
The
somebody
protections
again.
and crowd control
We've
is
added that
really
to
important
jungle
for
camp and
Achilles.
jungle bosses now as well. So if you
But I think
were to
this just
go
makes him like a
dash
full
and then
damage
stab
character.
a jungle monster, you get the reset as if you hit another god, and that actually allows you to clear the jungle camps.
Pretty sure you just max 3 now in every roll.
And then on
But
top of
the
that,
thing is
you
your
actually
1,
have some increased
I don't know if you'll
scaling on
need that.
stab as well, with your armor off.
because they increased the damage of the 1. I don't know if you have to actually max 3 for clear. But maybe your clear is so bad with your 1
Now, and it scrolls
that it doesn't matter, that you still need to max your 3.
there as well. So
There
that
we go.
only shows if you've got the talent on, and it only impacts you if you have your armor off. So which
That's
really
a cool
trying to
aspect, though. I think
encourage
that's a good one. His
the
+1s are maybe
jungle
crazy.
playstyle, or the really aggressive playstyle.
Probably like a
with this
5%
aspect
slow up
of
to
Achilles to
10%.
keep his armor off, be squishy, but do a lot of damage. And to, as a trade-off for that, to make sure you're not just getting buffs.
The aspect plus how fast your 3 moves also, like a Hydra's reset. Bro, you can like blink in, stun auto dash, auto, before they can even react. Because a lot of the times when you play Achilles jungle,
So
your like your 1s stun you can usually hit, but then it's like the rest of your damage comes out so slowly.
And then I think, yeah, there was the one other +1 where you know, if you have your armor off, you'll deal extra damage with your 1 as well. So the idea is increased damage, increased clear. Play more like
That's cool though. I'm a fan of Achilles. I like that.
But Achilles, we hope this pushes
like
him to
that.
be kind of a viable jungler. Where in Smite 1, I think, at least my competitive history, it was always like you could play jungle Achilles in the early game, But once you got towards the late game, you kind of regressed that warrior playstyle.
Character is horrible late game.
Lots of people asking for fishnets to come back on Nemesis, but we just upped it all the way to 10 on this one. She's got the fishnets. She's blacked out. She's got the goth
community. I think we
That's the free page. Skin. Do they show the rest of it?
Look, as we talked about in Vegas, page 2 is going to be accessible to everyone who unlocks the premium version of the Wandering Market collection.
That's a cool Mordred skin.
On the second page, we've got
that's a cool Mordred skin.
Looking sick. Probably my favorite new global emote that we've done. Get in, losers. We're playing Smite 2. It's so fun.
That's funny.
Of course, we've got diamonds on
That's a funny
page.
skin.
Every page
or that's a funny emote.
Diamonds accessible. We've got the Minion Wrangler title. And then we also talked about this at Vegas, but Ascension Pass tokens. So these are going to be available via the Wandering Market.
That's cool.
You purchase an Ascension Pass token with the coins that you earn from just playing the game.
Not bad.
Doing your daily and weekly quests.
Not bad.
All the cool skins. Preview this page at Vegas, but we've got the Spicy Kraken badge. We've got another jump stamp.
I hate jump stamps. I hate jump stamps. Maybe I'm alone, but I hate jump stamps.
Diamonds on every page. And then another tracker, but for Aladdin, Sultan's Disgrace, the number of times Aladdin has killed enemy gods with Sultan's Grace.
I don't even know what ability that is.
Little kitty that's in the badge from page 1. But
that Alma skin is so sick.
Hecate skin. So
I'm such a big Alma fan.
Already bumping up those skin lines for sure. We've got a jump stamp here, touch grass.
Hate jump stamps.
So her passive does increase. We can read this out if you want to go ahead, Isaiah.
All right, cool. So Soul's Heat provides intelligence and ability damage, but no longer provides strength, attack speed, and basic attack damage.
Okay.
Soul erupts and deals damage around her when she becomes immune from Disapparate. So talk to you about that one, Ro.
Okay.
Yeah, so
this is supposed to be ability Soul.
And Smite 2 gives her a ton of stats for this, just to make her a great basic attack god. We're shifting those stats to be more focused on ability damage rather than just
something that is a little, I think people still misunderstand what is really OP about this, but look at how fast you can auto after 2ing on Soul, and now that they fixed Poly on the 2,
and Smite 2 gives her a ton of stats for this, just to make her
like full intelligence Poly on Soul,
great basic attack god.
Look at how fast she autos after the 2. Like, do you see that? You can literally one-shot with that. Literally can one-shot with that. The aspect no longer gives you your attack speed, auto attack damage, yada yada. Now it is intelligence and extra ability damage, and then she also explodes when she becomes immune in her 3.
To be more focused on ability damage rather than just basic attack damage.
Look at that explosion
size.
See
there, you got full heat.
What's the number? What's the number?
When you get to that Disapparate, which is at the end of the duration of your 3, you explode. Kind of thinking about maybe like a Baba Yaga dash where you explode as you jump up. Similar thing here.
Yeah, of course, Archie.
Around you and deal damage. So the amount of intellect you actually get from your passive here is kind of insane. If you build, think of like the Tolkien way you build a ton of int and a ton of mana items, you ended up like 1,000 or almost 1,500 int.
Also, I thought it said you get intelligence. Why does he have none? Soul's Heat provides intelligence and ability damage. The number's not going up though. Oh, 0.4% up to 100. So 40 intelligence and 7.5% ability damage. That's not bad. 40% intelligence, 7.5. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 abilities. 30% extra. Kind of good.
Big ability hits. If you hit that, I always called it the Barra combo. I think that was...
Wait, it's 40% increase? I swear that is not 40% increase, right? No way that's 40%.
Controversial and competitive. But if you hit the 2 ults, basically, you can delete somebody if you're late game. But your basic attacks will do less.
No, I mean, surely that should be 40 intelligence, not 40% intelligence. Does it say the explosion? 145 plus 45% int.
Basic attacks were very strong in Smite 1 and Smite 2 when it came to early pressure and pushing towers down. She will lose that as a trade-off, but the ability to one-shot.
I'm excited to try it. I really am.
If, you know,
I really am excited to try it. I do think it's busted though.
Defensively and blow them up around you and deal that extra trade-off.
300 plus 75%. Bro, you're actually going to one-shot. You don't even need to auto.
The ability to one-shot somebody with a new combo, and especially if, you know, a jungler is diving on you, you can use your 3 defensively and blow them up around you and deal that extra damage. If you have a bunch of int from your passive from being full heat, you deal a lot of burst damage there. we had a fun moment in today's playtest. As I said, these things are still in progress, but that was actually damaging allies in today's playtest as well.
So that's not good.
That's funny.
We had Caps killing his own team with
a little bit of friendly fire, right?
That is insane. Okay, Soul's a cool one.
Gold buff and presence now defaults to red buff, and when activated, you gain movement speed, haste, and basic attack power in addition to the original effects. It no longer alternates to gold buff or heals you when activated.
Ooh.
So yeah, like you said, really encouraging staying in that red stance for sure.
That's right. Yeah, just very, very aggressive. All your offensive stats are being increased there. And when you use it, you'll just get more offensive stats. So really, basically, it becomes a stim at this point.
Yeah.
Every time you use it, you get less defensively, but deal more damage.
I think that's broken.
Get a little bit of haste, a little bit of basic attack
I'm pretty sure that's
power,
just broken. You gain a movement speed buff, haste. Okay, maybe the downside is you don't get perma movement speed. Okay. The downside is you do not get perma movement speed. However, you get a buff of movement speed, haste, basic attack power. It doesn't heal you though. It does not heal you. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure you don't need it to heal you. You'll just go Death Toll. But no, MS to Hyperfarm. Yeah, you still get movement speed when you pop this. Yeah, it doesn't shield anymore. You only get movement speed, haste, and basic attack power. The shield is pretty irrelevant, I think. The heal is kind of irrelevant. I think the no perma movement speed is probably the most downside, but I think that's just good.
But now just all for yourself. Kind of very selfish, but
Bro.
very powerful.
Okay, keep in mind, this is a totem that has 0 protections. But look at the numbers you are seeing with not a single item in the build. Not a single item in the build. This is just popping as one.
Less utility. Nothing for your team as much in terms of like the movement speed that was being
Well, the level doesn't
before,
matter because level matters for protections.
Kind of
this never has protection. So like, this is 227 on a bot that has no protections. Say you kick it up to, we'll say 80 protections. That gives you about, like, I think it's about 40% mitigation or something around there. So your auto is going to be doing like 160 or something still, 150. And this is with no damage. Is Alma better Bellona? No, they would be completely different characters. Because this character, like Bellona, is really good at 1v1ing hunters. This is still like a risky 1v1 for her to take. Just because, I mean, you have your 2, but that is crazy. I guess kind of keep in mind that this is with passive. So you need the first 3 autos. That is something I did not consider.
Yourself being powerful rather than.
I did see that, G. I like it. I like it.
But you know, style and it feels.
Okay, what's next? Ooh, Mantle. 40% health. You unleash a shockwave. Okay, so it's just the exact item. Cooldown is 110. The stats on it are pretty underwhelming, but it does have a nice cost reduction. I think this will be a very good item. This will become very, very good. The positive for this is like a really big buff to backliners because this now gives you that CC immunity. Immune to crowd control for 1 second at 40%. So for like hunters, you go like your 5 items, your starter, and then you can just slap in Mantle. Or you can play, yeah, like Zeus, 5 damage, your damage starter, and then Mantle of Discord. I think this is crazy. This is crazy. Especially with how high base health is currently. I mean, if you even build like one base, like imagine Tegvir's Zeus ADC build with this Mantle of Discord instead of shifters. I don't know. I think this is crazy. I think Mantle is not great for the game. This is just too many stats. A stun, CC immunity. I don't know. Yep, arrows what works on wave.
To get this one in.
All
right, that flash. That you
for real and Achilles.
Immediately. No, smite.
What else we got?
It's available. Kind of goes over this and our plan
is we tend to it more if they
has you'll be God track
and fits
being recon
on them. We are still order these exit out.
Oh, same with the fall there.
Aware
item
different can do. Being able to enter practice while in queue is something that the team
is that all? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have understood. I'll see you guys again next time. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment what you're most excited for. Peace.